Part A. Express 2 sine x minus 3 cos x in the form of r sine x minus alpha. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to expand the sine x minus sine alpha using the addition formula from the formula sheet. So that's going to give me sine x cos alpha minus cos x sine alpha. And notice that all of that does need to be multiplied by r. Next, underneath that, I'm going to write down what I need to put into that form. So 2 sine x minus 3 cos x. And then comparing those, I've got a sine x here and a sine x here. So that means that our cos alpha would have to be 2. Now with the second term, I've got a cos x here and I've got a cos x here. So that means that the r sine alpha has to be 3. Now I'm just going to divide both of those by the r to get our trigonometric ratios, so that I can draw a little right angle triangle where I say that this angle here is alpha. Now I know cos is the adjacent divided by the hypotenuse, so the adjacent is 2, the hypotenuse is r, and I know that sine is the opposite divided by the hypotenuse, so the opposite is 3. Now I can do a little bit of Pythagoras to work out r, which to 3 significant figures I get 3.61, and then I can say that tan alpha is 3 over 2, so tan inverse of 3 over 2 is 0.983 radians. So that allows me, from part A, to rewrite the expression 2 sine x minus 3 cos x as r sine x minus 0.8983. So that's my answer to part A. Press pause, make sure you've got that copied down if you haven't already, because I'm going to clear my screen. Right, moving to part B of this question. It says states the minimum value of this expression and the smallest positive value of x which this minimum occurs. Well, I know the minimum that sine can possibly be is minus 1. So minus 1 times 3.61 is going to be minus 3.61. That's the smallest it can possibly be. Now I need to think, well, when does that occur? When does sine have a minimum? The sine graph looks like this. So that has a minimum at 3 pi over 2 or at minus pi over 2. It could be either of those. I'm going to check both. So that x minus 0.983 could equal minus pi over 2. Or it could equal the 3 pi over 2. If I now add the 0.983 to both of those, the minus pi over 2 plus 0.983 gives minus that, which is negative, not positive, so actually I know it's not going to be that now. So I'm going to ignore that. So the smallest positive answer is going to be when I do 3 pi over 2 plus the 0.983, which gives 5.6953, which I'm going to say to 1 decimal place is 5.7 radians. So we've got a smallest. The minimum value is minus 3.61 when x is 5.7 radians. Part C. We need to solve this equation. Now I'm comparing that really closely with what I had at the beginning. And I can see that this matches up perfectly. The only difference is we've got 2x instead of x, which means I can take my answer from part A and use it, but replace the x with 2x. I do notice I've got a plus 1 here as well, so I do need to include that. And that's going to equal 0. Next, I'm going to subtract the 1 from both sides of this equation. And then I'm going to divide both sides by the 3.61 to make the sign the subject. And now I'm going to do sine inverse. So sine inverse of minus 1 divided by 3.61 gives minus 0.2807 to 4 decimal places for now. I now need to draw a graph to find the other solutions to this. Don't do anything over here yet. We'll add the 0.983 and divide by 2 later. Let's get the other solutions to this. So 0, pi, 2 pi. I know I don't need to go further than 2 pi because I only want my answers up to pi. I'm going to go a little bit further back though because my first solution was negative. My first solution was minus 0.2807, which is there. So there'll be another solution here and another solution here. I know this is 0.2807, so this is 0.287. So if I do pi plus the 0.287, I get 3.4223. And then for this answer, I'm going to do 2 pi minus the 0.2807, which gives 6.0200, 25. And now I'm going to add the 0.983 to both of those. So for this, I get 6.986. And for the other one, the 3.4223 plus the 0.983. And also I am going to add the 0.983 to my first solution as well. So minus 0.2807 plus 0.983. Divide all of those by 2. And we get 2 decimal places, my three solutions, which are 0.35, 2.20, and when I divide my third solution by 2, I find that actually that's bigger than pi. I get 3.45, blah, 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 so that's too big. So I'm actually going to ignore that solution over there because I only want my answers between 0 and pi. So therefore, these are the only two answers to that part C.